Hey, welcome to DevKami number 141. So this is the part two of the Malaysian technologies for the Merdeka. So the first episode is where we try to we demo Malaysian made game. Uh, this time we actually have a company that it's a bit international, but had Malaysian developers working in it. So, but before we go there, let's introduce some of us. So we have Tristan. Say hi.
Hello, I'm Tristan.
Yep. Of course, he's activist stuff. Then we have Xiang. He works for local labs.
Hi, I'm Xiang from Laluka Labs.
Yep. Then we have Kamal.
Hi.
Counterclockwise. Then Jiang. She is the product manager, a product owner, product manager.
Yes, right.
Which one was
Hi.
it? Yes. So
Yeah, I'm already thinking of a question like what exactly does a product manager do in such a thing? But maybe we can do that later. Sorry, I just thought of a
yes.
question that was interesting to me.
Then, of course, one of the local lab staff is Arthur. He have bad network connection, but try your face if you can. If you can, that's fine. And say hi, by the way. Can you say hi? All right. The network is a bit too slow to reach. That's fine. Don't worry about that. So let's start with. Okay. So you know what? I'm going to. We have a lot of people. I'm going to flip the format a bit. Let's flip with that. So usually we start with our meetup. So I'm going to share screen for that, Chrome tab for that. Meetups.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think our calendar is still lonely and empty
So
for
don't
a
about
few
that.
months now.
Correct.
But we are
Don't-
doing
don't-
the Ruby KL on September, although that's
Correct.
like next month.
Then you know what? I think shall we skip bus corner as well, or you want to go through that?
Well, it's only a few ones, so maybe we can take a look at that quickly. Although I don't know if that's going to be interesting. I do know that Parsec one is interesting.
Yeah. For me, the NVIDIA one is interesting because NVIDIA originally are not supporting Wayland on Linux. I'm a Linux user. Nowadays, I'm a
Mhm.
mixed Linux Windows user, so that's counts. So I'm very excited. So Parsec is interesting because Parsec is a way for you to do 3D content. So it's
Well,
almost
not exactly. It's like RDP. So it's not about 3D
ah,
content. It's about remote desktop. So what's happening is Parsec used to be a way for you to play a game on a potato PC
right.
by running the game on a more powerful PC somewhere else. So
Right.
it's like,
Cloud gaming.
yeah, like cloud gaming, something like a Stadia or Nvidia Shadow Play or something like that, right? But unlike Stadia or Shadow Play, where Nvidia or Google owns the hardware, with Parsec you own the gaming machine as well.
Right.
And then so you,
Right.
for example, what I have right now is I have an Ubuntu desktop and I have a like KVM virtual machine running Parsec, running Windows, and then I go back to Ubuntu so that um, I pass through my graphics card, etc. So I can continue my work, and then I can run Parsec to actually play the game on the same computer. So
Right.
so it's and if you have like another gaming computer, for example, then you can run Parsec there, and then you can remote into that computer and play it. And what's different is unlike, for example, TeamViewer, where you have lots of lag, Parsec
Mhm.
encoding is good enough that it's like 15 milliseconds of latency, mainly due to the network, and so
Right.
it's not bad, right? And what happened here is that it was supposed to be for gaming, but people, because of the pandemic, people realized you can actually use it as a remote desktop application, so you can keep your render machines in the office running and work from home, and you can continue working on stuff on like on your games, for example. And that's what Unity is doing. Many Unity developers are actually doing that. Their render machines are in the office, powerful machines, but they're on their laptops at home, and then just using Parsec to remote into their office.
Interesting. It's also interesting because I don't have 3D stuff, but if I'm a designer, that'd be awesome as well.
Yeah. So again,
So,
unlike TeamViewer or like RDP or something like that,
mhm,
or X X remote,
yeah,
the thing about Parsec is that when they encode things, you don't lose fidelity. Or even if you lose fidelity, it's not about like the colors are accurate, for example, because sometimes when you do encoding, you can encode it such that you throw away a lot of the color data, a lot of the asset
correct,
data
correct.
that you require. And if you're
That's the first
doing
thing.
yeah, if you're doing assets, then because if you just need like whatever is shown on the screen, you don't really need perfect colors, right? But what Parsec is
Correct.
doing is that they're actually reflecting it very well, and so that's their primary advantage, and that's one of the reasons why it worked very well with remote workers.
It sounds similar to our workflow, right? Since we are working remotely, right? We do development on central development server, so
Mhm.
everyone is logged into the dev server, and then they're actually running the code there instead of on
Mhm.
their laptop.
Yeah, correct. So this is that workflow, but think of it as
Programming.
running Photoshop on a Threadripper system, like
Mhm.
in KL Central Office, but
Yeah.
you're in like I don't know in PJ
It's
or
like
in yeah it's somewhere
Kuala
else.
Kubu Baru.
Yeah.
Right.
So
All
it,
right,
it, it
cool.
is so it's finally the workflow for code developers finally happening in the visual developer side or the game
Mm.
development.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So next thing is GitHub had a new shortcut. Just press dot. The link have demo. You can go to our website and click it. Very interesting. And the next one is Lockbit is actually ransomware. So essentially claims that it does not impact the operation. But I put here just a reminder because ransomware hit the best of us. So just be careful. Be careful with email. Don't open anything else, etc. So yeah, I think I don't think we have other news. I mean,
Yeah,
we have other
it's a
news, but we
short
can't argue.
buzz corner.
Yeah.
Slow week. It's
So
a slow week, but we have a full
yeah,
house, as Nicholas
correct,
mentions in the comments.
correct. So let's start with introduction. What is Nakola Labs? And what is GetOTP? So one of you guys, let's introduce, and also introduce yourself fully with roles and all this.
Okay, I'll do that.
Okay.
Um, yeah.
I'm going to full screen you. So now, yeah,
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Front and center.
interesting.
Uh,
Okay, now I found a better one. I give up. I give up. I do not know.
Yeah, so swimming prefers to be front and center, I think. No. Okay.
Yeah.
okay. I'm Hejong Park. I'm a product owner of GetOTP, and we are a team. We have 6 members for now,
Mhm.
and let me introduce about GetOTP first. So GetOTP is web service that helps you build a one-time password authentication flow with very little coding to do. So we uh, differ from other OTP systems as we provide ready-made UI, and you don't need
Mhm.
to worry about many other details like verification logic or listening logic, or we also offer multi-channel authentication as well. So you can get started with just very few lines of code.
Mhm.
Mm.
Cool. So, how's the team composition looking like? I think I need to move around. I'm so
Sorry,
sorry.
swimming. I think you need to speak a bit louder
All
because
right. So Can you hear me now?
Yeah, and a bit slower as well.
All right. So the question is, how's the team composition look like? You have 6 people in your team, right?
How's the team composition look
how
like?
many are devs,
okay,
how many
okay.
are designers, etc.?
Yeah, I'm a designer. So one designer and one front end, and we have CEO, CTO, Kamal, and 2 backend engineer.
And how did everyone meet each other? Like, that's a very diverse group of people.
We are 100% remote, so we used to gather together offline as well before COVID, once or twice in a year somewhere.
But how did everyone get started? Like, there must have been some point in time where everyone met together.
We first met John during PyCon Korea, right?
Yeah.
Sometime in 2015, right? 2015, right, John? I can't remember.
I
Or
think
2014.
15.
Wow, 20 years ago.
No,
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
16,
around that time,
16.
2014 or 2015. I can't remember. So met John there. So we I think she gave a talk on, I forgot what actually the talk is, but Iqbal was interested in the talk, and then he met John, and then invite John to join us. Right, so that's how it started. Siang actually is my colleague from the past, so we worked together. I think around 2000,
2008,
2008, 2007, I think, right?
2008,
At that time.
2009,
Yeah.
2008, 2009. Yeah.
So last year when we start the local labs, we are looking for developers. So, and then I talk again to Xiang whether he interested to join us. So that's how it started. Factor also means that he used to be my junior from the school. Right? And then we met through the local groups, I think on Facebook. Right? And then he joined us last year as well.
So the team actually knew each other before starting.
Yeah, basically I think through the network of like this, right? I mean, it's a small world in our circle.
We have a question from the IO Foundation. What is the target customer, devs, or also other organizations to use in their services? Maybe Kamal can quickly answer your target customer.
It's for basically the target customer. It's like two segment, right? So firstly, the product is for developers, right? It's for developers means that if you try to explain this for non-developers, it's hard for them to understand. You can explain the end usage, right? Because everyone is using that. Everyone is using the OTP when they want to buy from Shopee, right? If you want to make transaction on Maybank to you, they will see how the features being used, right? The OTP things. But when it comes to implementing that in the system, then it means only the developers understand that. So it means that the target, we have to work on these two segments, right? We have to convince the developers that using us will save their times instead of rolling up their own OTP solution. And then we have to convince the decision maker, right? The management, right? That using us will give a cost benefit to them, save means the cost in trying to implement your own OTP. So,
Yeah.
but the target market, I think is quite large. I mean, we can go from the financial sector, which basically really need to use the OTP, and then to the retail sector, e-commerce. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Speaking of cost, actually, I can see the starter plan is €5 per month for 100 requests. But if you compare, like if I'm already thinking implementing it myself with maybe Twilio with an SMS service, like getting a short code is already expensive.
Yeah,
Like sending SMS, depending on where it ends up, is also expensive. And plus, that's just SMS, and you need to have, like, I can see the services are, as well with email and all of these other channels for OTP. Getting them set up yourself, even with initial free services, is going to be quite a hassle
Yeah.
and expensive as
Yes.
well.
yeah. We still experimenting and then playing up with the cost. So we're not really sure yet what is I think the fair pricing that we can introduce, right? Because this is pretty early to actually to see whether the pricing can fit the requirement of our target users or not.
Yeah, but this is an enterprise product. So meaning, on one hand, enterprise product is weird in a way that you don't want to be too cheap. Now they're going to use you up like crazy.
Yeah,
And you do not want to be too expensive. Now they
Yep.
think you're too expensive and making
Yeah.
it heavy.
yeah,
I can feel your pain.
yeah.
I can feel it. So, okay, so here's a question off topic a bit. Have you tried selling it to sysadmin?
You
Or
mean-
rather, operation focused CTO, right? Because what you're solving is actually operations problem.
Mm-hmm.
You go and ask dev, of course, we're going to build out whatever ourselves. But you're going
Yeah.
to sell it to the C levels, then it's easier, right? Because it's all operations now. So
Yeah,
that's what we do.
that's definitely in the pipeline. Right? But still pretty early at this moment. We still kind of thinking what is the marketing strategy that we want to adopt.
Right. Okay.
Who's in charge of marketing, by the way, in the team? Everyone else is in charge.
Not me. We have another team for that. But so I guess since the focus today is, I think, more on the product itself. So we're not inviting them to join today.
We have another question. Is it an SDK or an API, or both, or none of the above?
SDK we already plan on to provide the SDK but right now you still need to access the API directly. We right now we just providing some demo code and then some tutorial on how to get started.
Okay, so how about the workflow of the OTP? Is it the type that we're all familiar with? We do a request, we get it from SMS, or it'd be like a multi-channel type.
It's a multi-channel.
Yeah.
So right now we only open the option to just for SMS and email, but the voice OTP also already there. But it's not we don't include that in the starter plan yet.
Well, so product development, I'm always interested in how, and especially in early stage products like this, like when there's an idea, how does it become part of the product? So let's say initially we wanted, you wanted to put voice, right? So you started with SMS, there's email, and then someone suggested, let's have a voice channel as well, like voice OTP verification or authentication. How does that actually get into the product? Like, who suggests it? How does that get voted on, maybe, or coded into? How does that get deployed to production? How is it validated that it actually is something that people want?
Maybe you can start first, John. Yeah, I will add later when it comes to the deployment part.
Yeah.
Like, so maybe for John, just to summarize my question, like, how does an idea become real in the product? Like, from, let's say, let's have voice. How does it go through the product workflow from an idea um, into actual product feature?
I think we basically we have discussion a lot before we move to development. So someone raised the idea and we have a call about it and talk about what are the requirements, what will this will be like, and we when we decide to have I think our decision making goes very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So also we are tech. Our team, most of our team are developers, so they also participate in decision making. So they raise all the ideas, and we quickly start to make build things.
Like, like, does someone get assigned the thing, or like developers just say, okay, this is our focus for the week, we'll make this finished? Do you make sure that the deadlines are met, or is there like no deadline, and then whenever things are ready, then they get deployed?
We have that line. We set that line for each feature, and
Mhm.
that's the work for as a product owner. So we said we have a weekly call every week, and we check all the work, and we set milestone for each quarter and each month, each week. So we check that we follow the schedule.
Mhm.
So La Local Lab is actually a spin-off from our main gigs, which is Zogzo, right? The Zogzo API. So here with La Local Labs, we're trying new things like a new development method, like a more lean way, so that so for example, GetOTP, we actually working on it in just 3 months, for example.
Mm.
The ideation actually starts since last year. I think we talked about it a bit during one of our think camp. I think so. It means that uh 2019, since 2019, but we doesn't do much. I think, and then last year, I think one of our team member sit down and then write the specification of what actually we want as a GetOTP. But then it just stopped there. We discussed a bit, and but since we are a bit full with a lot of other stuff, so that doesn't uh, get attractions. Not until I think 3 months, 4 months ago. So at that time, we kind of free our hand from we just done with one of the project that we're working on there, and then we're thinking that, okay, why don't we start working on this? So and then one, I think Iqbal himself actually started with the initial code. So he wrote a little bit, tried to do some proof of concept, and then after that we decided, okay, this is something that I think we want to build, and then that at that point that we start assemble the team. The development actually is quite, we kind of do like a weekly milestone. So every week we decide what we want to have this week. Then every Friday we will meet, and then the team will show what we've done. So that's actually how the iteration goes.
Mhm. And IO Foundation is asking, planning to provide workflows. I think you'll do a demo a bit later, right? Like what exactly, uh, like how, like one of the workflows for GetOTP. Because I would imagine that since this is a developer related product, then you need, the application itself happens in the background. So you need an application to actually call the OTP SAS. And so it's not really the OTP that we're showing, it's the application using GetOTP to generate the OTP.
Yeah, right. That's why we built the demo site so that people can actually see how it actually works. Because it's just an API actually, right? API you need to write code, so it's hard to imagine or show that, right? So that's why we built the demo site. It's much clearer and more
Got it.
visual.
Suimin, can we show the demo site later? I
here's
guess
my
we have time,
question.
right? Yeah.
Yes, let's do that. We will do a demo site later. Before we go there, I think we can do that toward the end. We will slot up the time. Remind me if I forget. I might forget. Okay, let's go on to the question. Do you guys actually do things like user interviews and all that before product, after building a product?
What kind of interview again? Sorry?
User interview.
User interviews, like user groups or focus groups, you mean?
Oh, that. Yeah, we do. We either we send email and then we have our team member which is in Japan that actually in direct contact with our customers. So they usually go on site and then talk to the customers and asking what problem that they have, what we can do to help them smoothen their business process. So yeah, kind of things. Yep. And sometimes they also come to us with what they want, right? They say that okay, they want something like this. Can you do that for us, or can you implement that, or can you add this kind of features to your API? So that's basically things that we are getting constantly.
What's the most interesting customer request that you've had to implement? Like something that they actually said, please do this in the application.
And also, you don't have to answer this if you think that it's strategic. So it's your call. It's your call. I'm just saying that not everyone is comfortable.
Or are people just asking the same things and then it's already in the roadmap? We'll just prioritize it again.
Yeah, that kind of thing. So we always decide whether we want to implement that or not, right? So that's actually depend on a lot of things, right? What our workload, whether this is something that generate the ROI for us, right? And then depending on whether the customer is big or not, right? That's also a very important factor, right? So if the customer is a big customer, they have more weight, right?
Yeah, it makes sense.
So the difference here is that you're not doing consultancy. You're still building a product, but you're building a product based on what the customer is asking.
No, we are not. We're not like a software agency, right? We have our own product, right? And then we decided what we want for the product, but that based on the customer input. But it's not that we build something for this customer, we build something for that customer. So all the requests, we have to decide whether this will be beneficial to all our customers, and then we implement the features.
Okay, cool.
So comment again is about the workflow is more in the response from the user to the OTP received. I guess this is about the channels, right? Like there, you mentioned you had like 2 channels, SMS and email.
Yep.
And John says he could imagine scenarios of customer service. I think we'll get back to this later. We'll probably get a bit more clarity once we get the demo app to show exactly how things are. I'm actually interested because OTP is something that can be annoying, but because like you log into your bank and then now you have to hunt for your phone because like it's in the shelf somewhere in the bedroom because now you have to get your OTP, right? But why OTP? Such an inconvenient thing. Like what got you to tackle OTP?
Is that a question?
Yeah, that's a question. Like what, out of all of the things to write software for and to solve, why OTP? what is it about OTP? Like, is everyone just interested in making people hunt for their phones every time they log into a bank? Like, you get a yes, I made him exercise
Yeah,
today.
like it or not, it's something that you still have to deal with. So why don't we make it much easier to implement that, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not something that you can okay, we don't have to use this. I mean, it's everywhere. All the requirements when we are doing transaction online these days require for the usage of OTP, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like it or not, you have to include that in your applications.
Mm-hmm. So it's something that people are going to be using a lot in the future, and like even now. And so you wanted to make sure that you have a product in that sphere, in that domain.
Yeah.
Hello.
Mhm.
Like,
Thank you.
mhm.
Apa
Hi.
kami?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seaman, you have more questions?
Okay, not in this, but let's go a bit of segue. Can we go to segue now because I'm interested in. Can you talk about your development processes? Do you do stand up? Do you do how's the sprint planning like? Do you do
Do you do
weekly sprint?
Jira, or do you do
Yeah, yes,
tickets,
correct.
or
Yeah,
That's
correct.
a very
John
interesting
just sends an
question.
email and then everyone
Yes.
just follows?
Yeah.
That's a
Xiang maybe
very
can answer
interesting.
that.
That's a very interesting question. We actually have something that resembles ticket-based task management system, and it is custom made by our team for our own team use. So much of the design of the task management system is very much outlined in a blog called the Remote Worker Life. So if you go to the website, then you will see the actual design document on what we really want to achieve with the task management system. So in real life, in what we do here, we have a weekly planning meeting so that we talk to each other, that tell each other what we're going to do for the week, what we did in the past week, any issues that we encounter. Then we will proceed with our work. Then we will have a weekly, like John said just now, we will have a weekly call where we gather together virtually, and then we will show each other our progress that we talk about in the beginning of the week. So we also have constant communication with each other through Slack. So we'll talk about the problems that we are facing, that things that we need help from each other, things like that. Yes.
And what's interesting
So
is
do you
that
guys do? Mhm. Go on,
so what's
Stephen.
interesting is that in the past, I think 2 years now, right? Everyone is mostly forced to do remote work, and GetOTP really only started within the last 2 years. So GetOTP started fully remote from the beginning. Well,
We
almost, I
are.
Yeah,
guess.
we already a remote team. We have been
Mm-hmm.
remote since 2008 actually.
Hmm. Hmm.
So and then we started working on GetOTP early this year, 3 months, like 3 months, 4 months ago. So it's fully remote workflow.
And what have
And
been the biggest challenge for fully remote? Because there's still a lot of people that are against fully remote environments, uh, and I'm guessing they have their reasons. But for you who have been doing this for the past 10 years, what would be the biggest challenges, even for
yeah,
experienced remote workers?
yeah. Among our team members, right? Uh, I I was known to be the one who prefer to be in office, right?
Mhm.
So because I think it's really challenging for you to work remotely compared to when you working together in the same room. So that's why when we have a team camp every year, it's really what precious moment for us, right, to be together. And then now that it has been 2 years since we haven't met yet for almost 2 years now. But since that's not possible, right? Since that's not possible, it's not possible for us to have a single office to that. So we have to live with doing stuff remotely. So definitely the communication is definitely the challenging part, right? That's why that's one of the reason last year we decided to sit down and think that let's try to build our own tools to manage the remote work. So that's why last year we tried to build the tools, and then right now we are using it internally. It's about the choosing whether you want to work synchronously or asynchronously. That's always the challenge. Where you want to draw the line. In If you read the discussion online, there's some opinion that's leaning toward more to the, let's say, the right, where say that everything must be uh, asynchronous, and then you have another extreme that say that prefer everything to be synchronous, means that you work like through you have a video call to work together, right? So I think we have to pick the middle way, and then most of the time we try to be to stay asynchronous, right? So that everyone work on in their own time. But at the same time, we must fix a slot, a time where everyone is together, right? Like we have the Monday call where everyone share their progress, their updates, and everything, right? The problem that we have, and then we also make it a kind of rule or guidelines that once you get into a couple of back and forth communication, you need to stop, right? You need to stop, and then let's have a call to actually resolve this, right? Rather than keep doing the back and forth email or chat message, because
Yeah.
that's not going to work anymore, right? You
It's,
stop
it
there,
takes
then
time,
yeah,
like
yeah,
to wait for another email or to wait for a chat response. Asynchronous
yeah.
can take time for a
Yeah.
decision to happen.
And at the same time, we also have what we call the core time, right? So because we are different time zone, right? So we define a core time where that's actually the time where everyone actually get the overlap, right, within the time. So fortunately for us, the time zone difference is not that big, right? So we managed to get a core time where everyone actually online at the same time for about 4 hours. So that's our core time.
And that's where meetings happen, I guess, or like
Yep.
invites
So
happen.
means that since everyone know what is the core time, they should try to plan and schedule their time so that if you need to do calls, like you want to go to get something from the shop, go to the bank, or something, you try to do that outside of the core time.
Got it. So you schedule around the core time, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. That's very nice. Okay, since I want to add time to demo to a little, let's talk about, can we talk about tech stack?
Tech stack,
Sorry.
Yeah,
the technology stack. Like I guess
Oh,
Python is one. I guess
Yeah.
since we have
uh,
Pythonistas here.
yeah.
Sam?
So what other technology do you use in the product?
Um, the backend is mostly Python.
Yeah,
We are using web framework called Django.
yeah,
Um, and then we use Stripe as our payment gateway provider. So we have some libraries that is built to make it easier to talk to Stripe, which is called DJ Stripe. That's mostly it for the backend. And then we use Django REST framework to provide API to the customer. So if you want to, so if you are to talk to our API, it's just some HTTP requests away. So there are just a couple of HTTP requests to our API, and then listen to some of the HTTP requests that is coming from us. On the front end side, they are mostly we use Tailwind for CSS. The appearance, the front end. I believe we have HMX. I think Fato can further elaborate on this on front end.
Yeah, I
Fato, are
would
you
love to hear that. Yeah, can you elaborate fully on the front end stack?
Maybe his network is not the best.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, tell us.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yep, we can.
Yep.
Not anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so for the CSS, we are using Tailwind CSS, and then for the
Yeah, it's simulating. We have
It's
a
delay.
Okay. Probably the network connection still is a problem with the network. So yeah, we're using Tailwind CSS on the front end, and then some basically this is actually some experiment that we do, but our usual tech stack on the front end basically Vue.js. That's what we are using, but for this GetOTP, we try to experiment using something lighter. So we try to use HMX actually to reduce the amount of JavaScript that we need to use on the front end. But I think it turned out to be a kind of failed experiment, right? The approach it still doesn't. If you are using just the set of core stuff, the normal stuff that provided by HMX, that's fine. You don't have to write any JavaScript at all, right? You just put some additional thing in the markup, HTML markup, and then you are done. You get the nice AJAX request without actually writing any JavaScript, so which is good. But once you need to add more UI, you need to implement more UI requirement. You end up having to write JavaScript as well, right, to handle the UI interaction. So it's defeat the purpose of using HTMX to trying to avoid writing JavaScript. So yeah, I think that's I think we going to end the experiment there. Then I think using Vue.js is still the best way to implement the interface.
Yeah. And where is everything hosted?
AWS.
AWS.
Yeah.
And then I assume that you're going to use some standard databases. Nothing too
Yeah, it's
fancy.
pretty standard. Yeah, it means it's just the boring stuff, right? MySQL, NGX, that's testing. Yeah.
So no serverless.
Nothing fancy.
Crazy, let's say.
There's no
Oh,
container.
Yeah, you're not in the Kubernetes camp. You're
No,
in the
we use container for the build process, right? For deployment, right? So to generate the deployment pubboard, everything we do that using Docker, inside Docker, but that's all. But the actual runtime running is still pretty much traditional.
Okay. So
Yeah.
man, you are like me in a way that I'm a conservative too when it comes to technology. Yeah. I'm still doing things the old way until the new job drives me nuts.
Can't really
Serverless.
hear you.
Okay. Long story. I mean, I don't hate it. Okay,
I
so
think I lost you, man.
okay. Don't worry about that. I got bad network too. So I assume that among the infrastructure, you're going to use things like an MQ somewhere because you can't avoid it. It's a telco product, right? So you will need you need some MQ and email services and whatnot.
Sorry,
Right.
Suyung, what did you say?
I'm saying that in between, you definitely need an MQ service somewhere, a messaging service somewhere. Or you lost me again. Hello?
Yeah, we no,
Yeah.
we just, it's a bit difficult to parse your question. What is an MQ service? Sorry, even I'm also get a
Message
bit
queue,
lost.
message queue. I'm sure there's
Message
a
queue.
messaging service.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe there's
message
no
queue.
message queue that is implemented in our service yet.
But the
Oh,
API, the SMS API definitely using message queue, but
Okay,
it's
okay,
not
so-
within GetOTP.
Okay, so GetOTP calling something else that actually do those.
The
SMS.
Zoxo API.
Okay, got it. So of course, you have to use Zoxo. Yes. Of course, I understand. All right, we got 15 minutes.
Let's
do
see.
the
Let's take
demo.
let's take a look at how it looks like.
Yep. Anyone want to share the screen? You have control. I'm going to shut it up so that I won't miss this.
Jong unmuted herself, so I think you're preparing to do it.
Xiang, can you do that?
No, she unmuted herself to ask someone else to do it. All right, perfect.
It's supposed to be Fatur actually, but I think he's having problem.
Yeah, I just received my computer replacement today, so it's not quite set up
Yeah,
for
I
this
know. I know the story.
It's a
I know
disaster.
Xiang for a while. So yes, I know the story.
yet. It's a disaster. I just received it, in fact, like a few hours ago.
But I see on the website there's a demo.
Yes, there's a
Well,
demo.
actually, speaking of the website, let's post it on the. I'm on a guest link, so I can't post on the comments. Swimming, can you post the otp.dev website
Okay, cool.
so that everyone can see it
will.
as well? So on the otp.dev website, there's a demo link. I guess that's something that we
Yes.
can take a look at.
Oh, that's a private channel.
Nicholas wants us to pray to the demo gods, so let's do that quickly.
Unfortunately,
Make sure.
I'm atheist. Ignore me. I'm so sorry.
Do you want me to share my screen? I can share it, but I have no idea what I'm
Yeah.
doing. I'll share my screen.
You know what? I think it's going to be fun. So you should share your screen, get the guys, everyone else to walk you through.
Sure, yeah. All right, so this is the GetOTP demo. Let me just quickly move this out.
Yep.
All right, so what can, I think, Swimming, you have to put my screen on
okay, I'm so
the,
sorry.
yeah, there you go.
I'm sorry.
All right, so this is the GetOTP demo. It's a bit-
Can you make it
Something
bigger?
wrong.
Is this correct? Still, or maybe it's my network is also not that good. I'm seeing like,
Something. I think there's problem with the network connections.
Yeah, Father
Yeah.
just sent me a message that seems we have some HTTPS issue right now, so maybe we need to show.
It
Something
looks
else.
fine. Looks
Maybe
fine
we
from my
can use-
end.
Okay.
Because it might be cache. It might be cache.
Maybe I can share my screen.
Yep, sure.
Yep. So. Okay, I'm going to remove these. Then I'm going to. Okay. Come on.
John is asking, while we're preparing this, why is the pricing in euros? Usually it will be on US dollars or something more local, but why is it in euros?
Okay, I'm adding your screen now. Come on.
Okay. Let's see that.
Okay, so to answer that, that all the financial decision is decided by CEO Iqbal. That from my side, but I guess we are the La Local Labs are Estonian company, and we also want to get some European customer as well. So we decide to use Euro.
Yeah, I'm guessing because it's an Estonian company, there's an Estonian bank account, and since there's already a bank account in Europe, might as well like take payments in euros.
Yeah.
John is asking, is it the e-residency thing? Is one of you an e-resident of Estonia?
Yeah.
All of you are, or just you?
Not me. Not me.
Okay. One
Alright.
probably the one who maybe Iqbal, since he's
Yeah,
the CEO, he's a named
Iqbal.
officer. So
Yeah. Man, here's the juice. Let's demo what happened.
great.
I'm going to sacrifice the Pokemon. Just keep it.
Something
Okay.
is wrong.
Yeah.
But I guess what is supposed to happen now? So no actual money will be charged.
No, this is just a mock demo application that shows you how the OTP flow works.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, if you click on one of the colored buttons down there, like verify with email, verify with SMS, or verify with voice OTP, you will get an idea on how it works in real life. So in this case, we are simulating an online purchase where the user is paying an amount of money, and in order to verify this transaction, he or she will have to go through one of this. Yeah, you can click on one of them to initiate the OTP request.
Also, that's interesting because usually the OTP request, at least in Maybank, from what I experienced, as soon as you log in, they will just send you the OTP. You don't.
Yeah, we are simulating this to have you have a very specific feel how each of these work. Of course, you can also combine multiple OTP flow into one. Like you can do email or SMS together, or SMS and voice together. But in this case, we are simulating just one for this case.
Got it.
Yep. So you can enter your phone number, and you put in the captcha, and it will
You can.
it
Do
will
you want
send
me
a
to? Iqbal, do you want me to
sorry?
remove the screen until you're ready?
Yep.
Okay. Let's.
Okay.
Tell me when you're ready. Then I will.
Okay, can I enter the phone number now?
Yep, it's not on the
just
screen
remove the
anymore.
Yeah.
Okay.
so screen.
And I'm guessing this is not the normal flow. This is more of the developer flow right now, or a demo flow, because
demo flow,
usually
yes.
if you're a customer, you already have entered your
Yep.
number beforehand, right? Yeah.
Because
So in that case that we saw just now, it's possible to send in the phone number, the email address in prior before we start the OTP, so that the customer do not have to enter their so that in the OTP the OTP screen you don't have to enter the email, the phone number. This can be useful when you implement this as an online shopping scenario where you already know the email, the phone number of the customer. So you can send the email, the phone number to the HTTP request directly without having to ask the customer to re-enter their details again. So what happened is that they will continue by receiving OTP numbers in their respective channel, be it voice, SMS, or email. Yep. So if you do not let us know what is the phone number or what's the email address before we initiate the OTP request, so we will get the customer to enter their phone number or email address
This is handled
as
by
part of the
GetOTP
flow.
already.
Yes.
Oh, okay, that's
So
convenient.
so you either pass in the email address or phone numbers before you initiate the OTP flow, or you get the customer to enter it in when they initiate the flow.
This is also good from a privacy standpoint. Like if I have a burner phone and I just need to get something logged in with an OTP, I can just use that. I don't have to get a record of my phone number in this system. It's just with GetOTP. Of course, I just have to make sure GetOTP doesn't save my number or something.
Kamal, I noticed that your screen changed. Is it okay for me to share your screen now? Oh no, not yet. Not yet. He's still doing the phone
Yeah.
number. I can't
Sorry,
see the
Xiang was
phone number.
wanted
Yes.
to say something.
Sorry.
No, I was saying that that's
Oh.
convenient from like not having to have my phone saved in the Shopee, for example, or like e-commerce site, because I just don't want, for example, my number or like my number changes all the time.
But it creates a number in terms of authentication because we cannot tell whether you are really the user that you claim you are. So in order to assist with this, throughout the whole session, we also send in a callback. So the website operator can know the progress of each OTP steps whenever a user initiate one. So the website operator can see whether a user has already initiated, has already verified themselves, and then or they failed the authentication for some reason. It will be reported back through a callback. So if you are using this GetOTP service as a mean to authenticate user and to log them into the system, the information that pass back through the callback is useful for you to authenticate the user and then authorize privileges to the user. Yes.
And I guess because the OTP is doing all of these as a developer or the website operator, I don't have to remember.
What we make it easier is that we handle all the sending of OTP. We ensure OTP is sent properly through SMS. We ensure everything is sent properly and the user receives it, and then the authentication, the verification is done, the validation is done all from our side. So whenever the user comes back to your application, he is already either verified himself correctly, or he just practically just failed the authentication flow. Yes.
Got it. And I guess this is what John was talking about with scenarios of customer service, where like I didn't receive my OTP or I didn't receive the email, those particular workflows. And if I'm the website operator, I have to think about like deliverability, but GetOTP handles that for me.
Yes. That's the premise of the service. Yes.
Cool. I paid it
Sorry,
for the service.
swimming? Oh, €5 for that.
I'm gonna pay
For 100 requests, that's
Yeah.
quite cheap. We'll see.
Yeah. I mean, we probably won't use it for DevKami because we don't keep your user information. But I mean,
But if you are
maybe
building
I
a
find
new
some-
website, yes, it can be useful.
Yeah. So yeah, sooner or later, believe it or not, we have to deal with fintech, and some of them will turn into a bank or something. So yes, we may have to deal with it sooner or later.
And John was
yeah.
talking about regulations, banking regulations requiring two-factor authentication. And I guess OTP is one such two-factor authentication method. Well, he's talking about, well, we don't know about the European banking regulation, no specific name, but is this one, like, do you have plans on getting yourselves maybe accredited as a unofficial two-factor authentication provider for banking, for example? Or is it like something far into the future? Or is it too difficult to get into? Swimming knows more about banks than me, but is it too difficult to get into that you probably just
Short
not
answer is
going to
yes. Short answer is yes because now you have one extra thing that depends on the rules, and bank are known to then bureaucratic. So now you have to go through certification, go through things like, for example, how do we trust you not to store, not to uh, the number will guarantee to change or whatnot. It will get really bureaucratic really soon. So it might be a bit too early for the team to say have the decision on that for a 3-month-old project, right? Is it 3 months?
So it's not like technically 3 months old though, but I mean, I guess it's 3 months old in the sense that there is like consistent development for the last 3 months. Is that right, Sham?
Yes.
But it's been ideated and developed on for the past 2 years, I guess. You mentioned 2019, even 2015. I think everyone met 2015 and got acquainted. So I guess it's still since then. I don't know if we have time to get the demo working. Sorry, Nicholas. We prayed to the demo gods. Maybe they didn't hear our prayers.
But it's on otp.dev. There's a demo link, so you can try it out there.
Also,
so,
if you're sorry. Also,
never
if you're
mind.
interested in seeing the OTP flow being used in real application, actually otp.dev, where our service is, we are already using the GetOTP service to provide user registration and login. So if you're interested in using the system, that would be the great place to experience that.
So that's the production level, not the demo app. The demo
No,
app is a demo app.
The
This is a production. Yeah.
production level demo is in
The actual
using
registration
the
flow.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Doubtful day, yay.
Yeah.
Okay, with that said, is there other way for us to contact you, for example, contact you as the local lab, local labs, or otp.dev? So only the website is the email.
Or like a discount for, let's say, 1,000 users. Because you want a bulk deal, let's say.
Currently, all registered users are given a trial of a starter plan for a month. So whenever you register as a user at otp.dev, you get a trial for a month, which is exactly the same as the starter pack now.
Cool.
Do you have a Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok? What else is there? Discord, I guess. I don't know. People apparently are doing TikTok for customer support and communication. I don't know how they do it, but they say it's something to be explored. I don't know.
Yeah, just don't dance. Just don't dance, please.
Well, if you can't solve the customer's problem, maybe a dance is something that makes them happy and they'll forget about it eventually. I don't know. It's a different way of thinking about the problem.
So, how do we contact you? Can we go through your Twitter or website? Is there a website for the local lab?
We don't have a website for La Local Labs yet.
Okay.
Yeah, we have Twitter and we have a contact link on our website as well.
Okay, cool. I think that's about it. So thanks for coming. I'm sorry for that it doesn't work for you, but thanks Xiang, thanks Jiang, and thanks Kamal for explaining everything. We hope to explore more, but we're short on time. So thanks for coming here and actually indulge us. With that said, next week we have Suhi, another Malaysian developer, on his product Get Stencil. And then I will figure out the one after next week.
Is it a Malaysian thing? Like get something, get OTP, get stencil?
No, it's a Java developer thing.
Okay.
It's a Java developer thing. Because we have to use getter and setter.
Okay.
Okay, with that said, thanks for coming, and shall we say goodbye?
Yes, let's say goodbye.
So goodbye. Right. Thanks for listening. Thanks for
Thank you.
Next week.
Thanks for having us. See ya.
Yes. We will share the video online to Twitter and all that. So I'm going off, and we're going to cancel our broadcast in 5, 4, 3.